Alright, what's up? Let's talk about social skills. The purpose of this channel is to help young males. I don't know a lot about females as far as what they care about and what they go through, and so I don't have a lot of advice to offer. Do have some advice to offer young males because I've raised about 5 of them plus all of their friends, so that's probably, let's call it 10 to 15 of them. And most of them don't have a clue about how to interact with other human beings. And I guess that's pretty normal for this generation. We got these tools that we carry around with us that make it real easy for us to not interact with other human beings, namely our phones. And so when there's an opportunity to interact with somebody around you, a lot of times young people just pick out the phone, start looking at Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, and don't take the opportunity to talk to the people that are right next to them. Well, I'm here to tell you that the things that you want to achieve and get out of life are going to be dependent upon your ability to interact with other human beings. Your social skills are going to determine whether you feel like you've succeeded in life. So it may be that you go out and you have interactions and you feel really awkward and you feel like, I don't think that went very well and it doesn't feel good. Well, the one thing you need to understand is that being good at social skills requires you to do it a lot. Just like a lot of other things, the first few times that you do it or when you're new to it, you're not good at it. And with social skills, it's no different. There are some people, of course, that are natural and that they just naturally get along with other people. But I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the person who feels awkward, who feels insecure, who feels like, I'd really rather not talk to that person that I don't know. I'd really rather just kind of see what's going on Instagram, maybe, take a picture of the ground and send it to somebody on Snapchat. Yeah, you do that. I know you do that. It's the dumbest thing, but you do it, and I know you do. So let's talk about what you can do that will actually make your life better. You need to learn to interact with other human beings. How do you do it? If you don't have good skills, then you got to figure out how to do it. And let me give you a couple of tips. Tip number 1, just talk to people. Take the opportunity to interact with somebody that you don't know. Take the opportunity to interact with somebody that you don't know very well. So if you're a student and you're in school, look around you. There are other kids there. There are kids that you've probably never talked to. Talk to them. See what they're up to. Use it as an opportunity to practice. You've probably heard about the idea that it takes 10,000 hours of practice at something to become a master. So think of yourself as a person who's looking to get 10,000 interactions, because that's probably what it's going to take for you to get really good at interacting with other human beings. So start interacting. Find somebody that you don't know or you don't know very well and start talking to them. But man, I don't know what to say. Well, let me give you a couple of guidelines. 2 things that you don't want to talk about. Don't talk about you, and don't talk about them. Anything else is probably fair game. So talk about movies, talk about music, talk about video games, talk about the class that you're just in, talk about the teacher, talk about a girl, talk about a boy, whatever. Talk about something that isn't you and isn't them. And why? Because those 2 topics can make people feel uncomfortable pretty fast. But if you talk about something that's external to both of you, it's pretty easy to have that conversation. You've probably heard people talk about the concept of small talk, or people talking about just talk about the weather. Well, the reason that that exists is because people talking about stuff that anybody can talk about. That's why people that don't know each other will often say, oh, it's a nice day outside, and the other person, boy, it sure is. They're just giving themselves an excuse to talk to each other. But you don't do that. You should. So all I'm saying is step 1 for you to start developing social skills is get out there, interact with other people every day. Count up how many times you actually voluntarily try to talk to somebody in a school day, a whole day, and think about how many times did you actually strike up a conversation with somebody that you didn't know, even if you just said, hey, what's up, to somebody you didn't know. I bet it's not very often. And I bet when you go places where there are a lot of people that you don't know, you feel real uncomfortable. And you feel like, man, I'd kind of like to get out of here. Or you get off to the side and grab your phone. I see this all the time. Like I said, I've been around a lot of teenage boys, and when I watch them interact with each other, it's mind-blowing to me. And it's scary because they are all awkward. and none of them seem to be smooth and have good conversation skills and be able to talk to somebody they don't know. So that's the start. That's the first thing that you need to do. Start talking to each other. Start accumulating interactions. And be advised, I'll tell you right now, a lot of them are gonna suck. You're gonna have an interaction and you're gonna walk away from it and go, God, that was terrible. Because you may get the sense that that person wasn't interested in talking to you. Or if that person's awkward like you, that person may not have wanted you to talk to them because they didn't know what to say to you. That's okay. That's how we practice. Over time, you'll get better at it. And by the way, you will form relationships. When you talk about things that are external to you and external to the person you're talking to, you may find that that person is into the same things you're into, and that's the beginning of the relationship. That's common ground. Common ground is the definition of the beginning of relationships. That's how it works. So get out there, start talking to other people, and let's get social.